Is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu accidentally killing itself? The martial art that dominates modern grappling competition may have abandoned the very thing that made grappling effective, because according to our biomechanical analysis, judo throws produce impact forces that make many popular BJJ takedowns look like controlled wrestling drills. That is not opinion. That is what the accelerometers recorded. The Harai Goshi generated rotational force spikes so violently that if impact damage were the objective, BJJ's double leg was not even playing the same sport. Yet millions of practitioners continue to train under the assumption that BJJ represents the evolution of grappling. But what if it is the dilution of grappling? What if the pursuit of efficiency removed the very biomechanics that made throwing arts dangerous? Today we're examining the data, the physics, and the uncomfortable truth that neither side wants to hear. Because by the end of this video, one grappling community is going to have a very bad day. Judo is officially more violent than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, at least that is what our censors say. For years, BJJ practitioners have claimed they possess the most effective grappling system on earth. Efficient, technical, scientific. But today we are asking a dangerous question. What if efficiency is not the same thing as damage? Because when we strap professional judo and BJJ athletes into high-frequency accelerometer systems and measured what happens during impact, one discipline produced acceleration spikes that looked less like martial arts and more like a car crash. The data was so extreme that it forced us to ask, has modern BJJ become a watered-down version of grappling? Or does judo's obsession with throwing simply create spectacular force without real control? Stay until the end, because we are going to reveal which art produces the most destructive impact, which art generates the most efficient control, and which style creates the greatest tactical advantage in a real-world combat scenario. Let's break down the physics. If you're enjoying this breakdown, please like and share to reach more martial arts enthusiasts. Thanks for the support. Section 1. The physics of the fall. Before we can determine which discipline is more dangerous, we need to understand what happens when a human body collides with the ground. So, we equipped experienced BJJ practitioners and judoka with high-frequency accelerometers capable of recording rapid changes in velocity thousands of times per second. The mission was simple. Compare two iconic grappling entries. First, the BJJ-inspired double-leg takedown, a level change, linear penetration step, forward driving force, controlled descent. Second, Judo Harai Goshi, rotational loading, hip insertion, angular momentum, and a violent redirection of body mass through space. On slow motion footage, the difference becomes obvious immediately. The double leg resembles a train, relentless, direct, linear. The Harai Goshi resembles a whip. The body accelerates, rotates, and then suddenly changes direction. And physics tells us something important. Rotational systems can generate extraordinary acceleration spikes when momentum is redirected rapidly, which means our hypothesis entering this experiment was controversial. Perhaps the biggest difference between judo and BJJ isn't technique. It's how energy gets transferred into the human body, and the censors were about to reveal whether that hypothesis was correct. Section 2, quantifying the impact spike. This is where things became uncomfortable for BJJ fans. When we compared the accelerometer data with the impact footage, a clear pattern appeared. The double leg produced a gradual transfer of momentum. Force was distributed throughout the takedown sequence. The defender absorbed energy over a longer time limit. But the Harai Goshi, everything happened at once. Velocity, rotation, impact, all compressed into a tiny window of time. The resulting G-force spike dwarfed what we observed during many of the double leg entries. And that is critical because the human body does not simply react to total force. It responds to the speed of force delivery. The faster the loading rate, the more violent the physiological response. For the first 50 milliseconds after impact, the body experiences what biomechanisms sometimes describe as a rattle effect. Soft tissues shift. Internal organs experience rapid deceleration. The skeletal system absorbs shock waves through multiple contact points. This is one reason judoka experienced spend years learning break falls. Without them, the body experiences tremendous stress during impact. At this point in the experiment, judo appeared to have a massive advantage in raw destructive capability. But then the story changed, because impact is not the only way to dominate another human being. Section 3, sustained pressure and thoracic compression. Most fights do not end at impact. They continue the ground. And this is where BJJ enters its territory. To investigate, we shifted our attention away from the initial collision and toward sustained control. Pressure-sensitive mats measured force distribution during common grappling positions, cross faces, side control, pins, chest-to-chest pressure, thoracic compression. What emerged was fascinating. While Judo generated larger impact spikes, BJJ generated more sustained pressure over time. Instead of delivering force like an explosion, BJJ applies force like a hydraulic press. Slow, constant, relentless. As the pressure accumulates, breathing becomes restricted. Mobility decreases. Energy expenditure skyrockets. The defender begins carrying not only their own body weight, but the strategic weight of their opponent. In many cases, the pressure profile lasted several minutes. The result wasn't trauma, it was exhaustion. And exhaustion creates opportunities. This is where BJJ's efficiency argument suddenly became much stronger. Because Judo was winning the violence competition, BJJ was dominating the control competition. Section 4. Efficiency versus trauma. Now we arrive at the most controversial question of the entire video. Which matters more, damage or efficiency? The energy expenditure data revealed something surprising. Judo's explosive throws often required greater bursts of power. The athlete generates significant acceleration, commits fully to the technique, and creates enormous force transfer. The payoff can be immediate. One throw, one impact. Fight potentially over. BJJ frequently showed a different profile. Lower explosive output, longer engagement, more strategic positioning, more conservation of energy. The goal is not necessarily to shock the body. The goal is to systematically remove options. In other words, Judo attempts to end the problem immediately. BJJ attempts to solve the problem eventually. Heat maps of cumulative stress points revealed another key difference. Judo concentrates on stress around impact zones, shoulders, back, hips, neck. BJJ distributed stress to multiple areas over extended periods: ribs, thoracic spine, cervical structures, respiratory muscles. One style delivered trauma, the other delivered attrition. And suddenly our original question became much harder to answer. Because destruction and control are not the same thing. The ultimate grappling verdict. So what does the data tell us? If your goal is maximizing immediate force transfer into another human being, Judo wins. The accelerometers simply recorded larger impact spikes. The rotational mechanics of throws like Harai Goshi create extraordinary bursts of kinetic energy. But if your goal is maximizing long-term control while minimizing your own energy expenditure, BJJ won. The pressure profiles, positional dominance, and sustained compression data make a compelling case for biomechanical efficiency, which means neither side is entirely correct, and neither side is entirely wrong. The most dangerous grapplers in modern combat sports have already figured this out. They do not choose between the two. They combine them. Judo violence, control of BJJ, explosive impact, followed by suffocating pressure. That is why elite MMA athletes increasingly blend both force profiles. Because the future of grappling isn't Judo, and it is not BJJ. It is the hybridization of both. So here's the final verdict. If you want the hardest fall, choose Judo. If you want the longest nightmare, choose BJJ. But if you want the highest probability of total control over another human being, you may need both. Now I want to hear from you. Did the data expose BJJ as watered down grappling? Or did it prove that efficiency beats destruction? Comment below and let's see which community shows up first. The grappling community is going to have a